Licks calling, I'm out at 1 and 2. Heat rising off the scoop, I'm whipping 1 and 2. Snakes in the grass, spitting venom, and I'm bulletproof. Wild in these streets.
Yeah, it's one of them, man.
Count mine. Every day I wake up somehow. It's another favor. I've been pushing harder than pregnancy labor. 90-day run, all different flavors.
Carson. Today, I got a special guest with me by the name of Reese Robinson. So one thing about Reese, he helps out a lot with the show as far as, what they call a treatment, which is basically putting together, all the talking points and, the latest sports news and things that, they want me to touch and talk about. So he's definitely a major force behind the show. So I decided, I wanted to have him on. It was kind of a spur of the moment. So, definitely a big shout out, round of applause for Reese, for stepping in and, doing the show with me today. This is episode 3. Definitely glad to be here. We continue to get better. We continue to grow. And I just ask you to take this journey with me. You can learn a lot, keep up with the latest sports, get my thoughts and opinions as well as, other people as well that's always on the show. Big shout out to Darren Stewart. He was on the last episode. That was a really good episode. I really love picking his brain and, just going over and talking about his journey and then also getting his insight on, his thoughts about like different sports topics as well. So big shout out to Darren, and we wishing him, major success moving forward. First things first, today's episode is sponsored by Network Cincinnati and then also Gumbo Medical. So big shout out to, the ones that make all of this possible. Today, we got a lot to talk about. At the time of filming, it is the NBA All-Star Game that's going to be happening here in a few hours. They're changing the whole format. It's four teams, 8 players on each team. 3 teams is with the actual All-Star that were voted in and selected, and then there was 1 team that qualified last night, a team full of like the rising stars. I don't know if y'all paid attention to the All-Star Saturday night last night, but it was better than I expected. It was actually entertaining. The dunk contest was won once again by Mac McClung. He's a multi-time winner. A lot of people give him a lot of slack because he's not an actual on-roster player. I think he plays in the G League. So, But the dunks he was performing last night definitely was some of the best dunks over the past few years. And then, got a couple other younger players. The kid from San Antonio had a nice dunk where his person that he had helping him, he shot the ball into the hoop, made the little layup, and then he took it and took it between his legs. Did you see that?
Yeah. He ain't even get all 50 for that. They gave him like some 49s and some 50s.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't get all 50 for that.
Wow. See, I didn't watch it live. I when I got home, I went out to dinner, I came home and just kind of blew through the highlights. But, yeah, them dunks by Mac McClung, it was nasty one.
Nah, it was, bro.
Yeah.
And I think it's too, like, with him in the G League, man, I think they be hating because he a white boy who actually can jump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, I think this is like the 3rd time he's won.
Be straight. He said
he
he don't even know if he's going to do the next one. He like, if they want me to come back, I'll come back. That's when you know he's just tired of it.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't stop him.
Right. He can play too. I don't know why. It's so hard to make it to the NBA nowadays. The players that can really play don't even get no run. And a lot of people say it's a lot of politics that go into that as well. Like, for an example, somebody like Bronny, they say is taking an opportunity from somebody who's more deserving of that. So it's just a lot of politics going into the NBA.
Man, I feel like anytime you got something that you're doing and you want to include your son in it, like you can call it nepotism or whatever you want, but don't fault me because my son got an unfair advantage. It's like you got to put yourself in a position where you can do that for your kids.
Right.
And it ain't really translating to the NBA. Like, he balling in the G League, but on the NBA side, it's looking horrible. But at the same time, he still get to play with his son.
Yeah.
And brother, he already rich.
Right.
So you might as well just try to let him fill out as an NBA player. Like,
right. He's getting better too. I think he He progressing. Every time he gets out there, he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. So eventually, it's going to be a big jump I think he's going to take. You got to understand, he's still young. He only did 1 year in college.
He's
so
a 55th pick.
Right.
Nobody ever paid attention to a 55th pick from the last 20 drafts. You can't name a 55th pick.
Yeah,
so it's like, because he's LeBron's son, they really own him. And it's not really fair, but it is what it is. Like,
yeah, absolutely. It ain't really too many rookies that's really like that is getting a lot of coverage this year for some reason. Typically, at least the number 1 pick is highlighted, pretty significantly. But this year, I ain't really been hearing too much about like the top rookies this year. It's kind of weird. Normally you hear about them coming in. You've been expecting them for a long time, like Wemby last year. So next year, though, it's going to be a big draft class. It's a lot of star power in college, and then also that's coming from overseas. So I'm excited for for next draft.
It's slowly becoming a Euro League though. Like them Europeans doing their thug right now. Yeah, you can't even be mad at them.
They play the game the right way. They come in with a lot of experience. A lot of these players, by the time they get to the NBA, they've been playing professionally for 5 years, 4 or 5 years. So the system over in Europe is definitely has either caught the NBA system, youth system, or is out past it. So we got a lot to, to kind of tighten up with our system. I think, honestly, you should be able to go from high school to NBA if you're good enough.
Nah, for sure.
And then also that NIL, hopefully that can keep some players that typically would have left college earlier than expected and stay in college now because they're getting paid. So that's something to watch out for. Over the course of this episode, a couple of things you can expect. We're going to talk about the Mavs and Lakers trade as far as, what's the verdict on that over the past, 2-3 weeks since that's happened.
Crazy work.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big trade in Golden State. They just picked up Jimmy Butler.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. Kevin Durant, congrats to him. He's the 8th player in NBA history to score 30,000 points. So we kind of touched that a little bit as far as like his legacy and where he stands. Oh, yeah, I got a good question when it comes to that. I want to kind of pick your brain with, but we'll kind of dive into. We're going to talk about, when it comes to success in the NBA as far as like team building, is it better to, have like a superstar team with, a bunch of established stars, or is it better to build it from the ground up, a la like San Antonio, how they got an influx of young talent, and they've pretty much, even though they still are, I think around like 10th last time I checked in the West, but you can see the potential in the future is bright in San Antonio. They just got De'Aaron Fox too.
That's cold.
Yeah.
That's
so
cold.
Now you got 2 players that's averaging 24 points a game. You got Wemby, and then you got De'Aaron Fox. And then the other influx of talent that they got around their team is going to be pretty good.
And it's his 2nd year.
Yeah.
And they making moves.
Yeah, absolutely. And then De'Aaron Fox is still young, too. So they got a nice little core that's going to be causing heck.
Bro, I like it, bro. Like, for real, I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about the difference between today's NBA in comparison to the 90s. I grew up in the 90s, and that's the era that I fell in love with basketball. So we'll talk about the difference. I know that era like the back of my hand, so I can't wait to kind of discuss that a little bit. And then, honestly, we'll take a look at Final Four hopefuls in college basketball. You got the college basketball season winding down. March Madness is right around the corner. We'll kind of predict who we think going to be there when the smoke clears. And then we'll finish the show recapping the NFL season. We'll talk about Patrick Mahomes. That's that loss hurt his legacy. And then we'll also talk about, where he stands when it comes to the comparison to Tom Brady. And then also, we'll kind of talk about next season with the Bengals. I want to kind of give a little local vibe to it as far as like expectations for next season. I've been hearing a lot of trade rumors with the Bengals as well. We'll kind of dive into that, and then after that we'll pretty much be it. So right now what we're gonna do, we're gonna pay some bills, a couple little commercials, and we'll dive right into it. Episode 3, stay tuned.
You know how to rock it. Hey, it's Danny. Hey, motherfucking fresh.
And of course, Cincinnati's Flea.
Yeah. Cincinnati's number one motherfucking barber.
And Cincinnati's number one motherfucking rapper.
Man, say that shit. Don't talk about, hey, shout out Network of Cincinnati.
Shout out Network Cincinnati. Network of Cincinnati.
Network Cincinnati, a reality TV show coming soon.
Thank you. And also, the Network in Cincinnati podcast is out right now. You can check it out. It's called Maps, Music, Artists, Producers with me and Magnif. Be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, you know, right now, you know what we're doing. You know, our main goal is to be a part of this movement to, you know, bring the city together. You know, I'm talking about entrepreneurs, entertainers,
business owners.
Business owners.
Anything you got going on.
Yeah. You know, it's
Get that
all
Denny
love.
Fresh. Is the man.
Hey. So they say. You know what I'm talking about? But you know, hey, it's always my pleasure, hey, to get you together.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Sports Talk with Carson. I got today's co-host, Reese Robinson.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, so we're about to get into this and, you know, pick your brain on. I know you know a lot about sports because, like I said, without you, you know, none of this would really be possible. Like, you really keep everything structured and my talking points, and you really make it easy. All I got to do is just come in and just talk about what I've been watching. So let's get into the first point of discussion that I want to talk about. Basically, so the Mavericks and the Lakers, obviously, you know, they had the big trade with Luka and AD. So AD, first of all, his debut, I watched it.
He was balling.
Yeah, he was definitely balling.
He looked like the missing link.
Yeah, for sure. He came in right away and doing his thing.
I think they had like 17 blocks that game, like as a team.
Yeah. They look real good. Really, really good. I think he had 26 points, and then he went down with a.
It's like an abdomen injury.
Yeah, like a lower abdomen injury or something like that. I watched the replay. It seemed like didn't nobody even touch him. Like, he literally just was moving, and then next thing you know, he just went down. Yeah,
I think, too, he was kind of already dealing with that injury, so I don't know if he probably tweaked it out or something like that, but he fragile as hell anyway, like, on some real stuff. Like, and I love AD, because he be balling. He turned the Lakers up, but he fragile, bro. Like, he a liability for real.
Right.
So I'm kind of happy the Lakers got rid of him. And then to get rid of him, then to get Luka.
Yeah. I know, right?
It's like, even if you don't think they going to go forward, it's like, how could you count them out?
Right.
You feel me? They got two basketball savants on the same team.
Yeah.
And then, you know, LeBron is like, don't even try to fit in. Just come and do you. And we going to work around you. So it's feeling real good to be a Lakers fan right now. I'm going to tell you that.
I mean, they're already in a good position. Last time I checked, I think they were fourth in the West or something like that. They just picked up Alex Len, who's a 7-footer that's going to give them a lot of depth down low. Because really, they don't need a big man to really score. They just need one that can move and that's good with screening rolls and somebody to protect the rim. And Alex Len has never really had a problem protecting the rim because he's just another big body. So far, it's looking like L.A. and Rob Pelinka has really pulled a rabbit out the hat with this trade here. Man, that's unfortunate with Dallas for them to give up Luka, and then, you know, AD got hurt at the end of the third quarter, and now he's going to be out several weeks. Return is to be determined, so hopefully he can get back by the playoffs. And
they got a lot of injuries right now.
Yeah,
though. Like,
they really
don't
do.
got no big man. It's looking sad for him right now.
Yeah, the kid from Duke hurt. You know, last time that I've seen. So it's hopefully they can, you know, stay in that play-in range.
Yeah,
but it's only so much Kyrie can do.
Right.
And you know, it's really a one-man band. You know, you got some good role players, Klay Thompson. You know, obviously he's a great shooter, okay defender at this point.
One of the best.
Yeah, it's a lot on his shoulders. Now, the one kid that came from the Lakers, though, Christie,
Yeah, I like him.
He's been playing
I
really
like
good
him.
since he.
I like him.
Yeah, I think every game he's been with Dallas, he scored over 15 points. So
Yeah. He shoot the 3-ball nicely. He's shooting consistent too, but
and he athletic.
and he a good defender.
Yeah.
I was kind of sad to see him leave, but
Right.
we got Luka, so it's like,
Right. Yeah.
you know what I mean? But yeah, he was nice. He was
Yeah.
coming up on the Lakers nice.
Right. Yeah. So as of right now, what would you say? The LA definitely got the better of the trade, or
Of course.
Okay.
They definitely got the better of the trade.
Yeah.
Then even they ain't really outside of, I don't really feel like they gave up too much. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's just
right.
like they winning off the trade, bro.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Luka, he got to get in and get acclimated, and then
got players way in the shape too, though.
yeah.
Did
But
you watch
then,
that first game?
I did, but that's fresh off the injury.
Yeah.
But
I
then,
mean, he played good. I mean, they slaughtered Utah, but Utah came right back and beat
yeah,
them.
I felt like that was gonna happen too.
Yeah.
And then it's a whole bunch of, you know how that go.
Yeah.
But
so here's the thing, not to cut you off.
yeah.
And this is like a jewel when you're talking about sports betting. Whenever teams play like back to back, and the team that first got blown out or something, always take them the next game.
Nah,
because
yeah.
I've never seen too many times where a team that just lost to a team come right back and lose to them again.
Yeah.
So that's like a telltale in sports betting. Whenever a team play back to back, or if they play like twice in the season, if it's football and they got blew out the game before that, always
Yeah.
take them the next game because they just seen that and studied the film and things like that. So
And they ain't trying to get blown out twice.
right, yeah. At that point, it's definitely embarrassing. They are professionals. So
And that's the thing with that too. Like, it's a whole bunch of professional teams. So on any given day, even though Utah at the bottom of the food chain, like, they can still cook the best team. Like, it's just like how they say, any given Sunday is any given day. Like, anybody can catch fire and cook.
Exactly.
So you can't sleep on nobody in the NBA.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Now let's talk about Jimmy Butler. I don't know if you watched his first game, but I watched his debut game. Went to Golden State. They look pretty good. What you think about Jimmy Butler trade? Do you think he the missing link to Golden State, or there's only so much that trade means when it comes to title implications?
I like it. I'm going to keep it real. And it kind of made Golden State like a sleeper team for me, just because what the Mavs is going through, I feel like they might be able to play out of the play-in situation, and then the Suns is right behind them. The Spurs ain't too far behind, so if everybody can get their stuff together, it's gonna be a lit situation, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jimmy Butler brings them toughness that they haven't had. Well, of course you get that from Draymond, but he's been a one man band when it comes to that type of toughness and grit that Wiggins really didn't give. It's just not in his personality and the way that he played.
Wiggins never had a team like Jimmy. He know what it's like to lead a team and be that guy. So the fact that he can come, and he don't even have to be exactly Jimmy Butler, but just enough to alleviate the pressure off of Steph and keep the floor spaced. And he gonna keep everybody. He gonna keep them honest.
Yeah.
And then he's scrappy as hell. He gonna go get them 50-50 ball situations. He tough. I like Jimmy though.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Jimmy.
And then he draws a double team when he down low, so that's gonna give Steph a lot more room to operate with as well. So I don't know if it's gonna take him to being a contender, but they should make the playoffs at least. I see them making the playoffs, and just depending on who they matched up with, they can definitely get out the play-in.
The West is tough though. I ain't gonna like this.
the
Probably
West
the
is
best.
tough. Yeah.
Even like the last couple of years, like the game's been so close. Like so, it's like the East is balling too.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good season. And now that the attention of America, as far as like the sports audience, is transitioning from NFL, now it's kind of being more focused on with the NBA. I think it's gonna be a lot more excitement. This last couple months during the playoff push. So I'm definitely excited for really locking in on the NBA as well. So yeah, absolutely.
So who you like on the East?
I mean, you got to go with Boston. It's hard not to think that Boston's going to be right there. So you got to go with Boston. I am also a big fan of Cleveland. I like what they got going on. I think that they got a chance to be there. Man, that'll be a good matchup between them and Boston. You can't count out Milwaukee. As long as the Greek freak there, then he's always going to be a threat. Him and Lillard. This is their second year. I think they're gonna really establish themselves during the playoffs. So But yeah, you got to go with Boston. What about you? How you feel about the East?
I would have said Cleveland, but they ain't been winning the matchup with Boston. Like the record, it looked good, it feel good to be like Cleveland, but they can't get the job done against Boston. So hopefully on the second half of the season, hopefully they can get it figured out. But I want to believe in Cleveland, but I like the Knicks too, man. Like
I
like
didn't
the
mention
Knicks.
them.
Yeah,
I like the Knicks. You're right. The Knicks are a good team. I like the addition of Cat. He's come in, Karl Anthony Towns, for those that don't know him by Cat. But and then Bronson continues to.
That boy cold.
He's
that
tough.
boy cold.
See, one thing about a player in basketball is what separates skill is definitely the heart and the drive. Those are the players I've always respected. The players that just got that dog in them, like Kobe. And people think LeBron didn't have it for a lot of years, but I think he got it. But I like that grit and that heart. You know what I'm saying? So
I think LeBron got it. It just looked different than what we seen it. Like they want to compare him to
Jordan,
Kobe and Jordan, but he really more like Magic. He more like a blend of everybody. But bro, he been averaging 25 for 20 plus years.
That's 40 years old.
Yeah, it's unheard of. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like the longevity, bro. It gotta count for something, bro.
Right.
We never seen nobody looking this good this long.
Yeah.
Like,
so we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we gotta get KD his flowers, man, because he just did something only 8 people has ever done in the history of the game. And then we'll kind of go into our other topics, and then I'll pick your brain on a few things, and so we'll be right back. Give us a minute. Right back at you.
Yo, it's AB, and I wanted to give a huge shout out to Cincinnati Flea and Network in Cincinnati. Go subscribe at their app to NetCincy app right now. Tell them AB sent you. You dig?
Like I said before the break, I want to get into Kevin Durant. He became the 8th player in NBA history to score 30,000 points. So, definitely got to give him his flowers for that. KD, to me, has always been one of the best. I remember KD when he was in Texas. That freshman year he had an amazing year. And one of the greatest freshmen that ever came out of college. And he came right in, drafted by Seattle. And he's been dominant ever since he got into the league. So he's definitely one of the top scorers in NBA history. I would say top 5. How you feel about KD?
He one of them people, bro. I feel like you could put KD in any era, and he gonna average an astronomical amount of points on him. Cause he's like you can't stop him. He damn near 7 foot.
Yeah.
His jump shot, he let it go at the top of his jumper. It's like you got to be Wemby.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's the only person who can contest him, or maybe Giannis, but on a good day, but. He's just unstoppable, bro.
Right.
And with the right amount of people around him and the floor space, it's like
I know, right?
He's so efficient. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine KD playing in the 80s? That would be unfair.
Like for real.
Like he going to get somebody like Bill Laimbeer or somebody. Like, come on,
man.
KD,
torching them.
Man.
Torching them. Hey, but before that, though, because I got to give my flowers to Melo. Melo would have been the 8th player if he didn't get blackballed by the league because he was right on the cusp. But not to take nothing away from KD, but Melo, he's a dog. Yeah,
Melo was a special player as well. That was just a golden era of NBA basketball when Wade, Melo, KD, LeBron, and all of them was kind of like up and coming. Yeah, that was a special time. So when it comes to like top 10 of all time, do you put KD in the top 10 list of all time players?
I think I might get a lot of slack, but I feel like I'm not one of them people. I'm not going to put rings above all. You feel me? I feel like the coldest players go in my top 10. Like, so even like somebody like Tracy McGrady, was cold. Like they ain't had no answer for him, but them back injuries, it took him out. He was a different player, but it's like, but KD definitely in the top 10. Like, I was go as far as to put him in my top 5.
All time?
All time.
Shoot, I don't know about top 5.
He already on his way.
I don't know, because my top 5 right now is Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Magic, and it depends. I would put Shaq in there because I think Shaq's the most dominant player of all time. But some people would throw Kareem in there.
Yeah.
But I just think if Kareem went against Shaq, man, that'd be a great matchup. But I think Shaq could get the best of him because he's just too big.
But I don't think.
Who you taking out of that? Who I just named you to put KD in? You ain't taking out Jordan.
Not
You ain't taking
that.
out Kobe.
I'm taking out, and I'm gonna get some slack for this, bro. I'm taking out Magic, bro. I'm taking out Magic, even though he got the 5 championships. He came in, he was hot, but I just feel like KD is a better. I'm not gonna say a complete basketball player, but in the NBA, we want to see niggas score.
Right,
And
right.
Magic Johnson
He was a floor general though.
I get it. Look, I get it, but
I don't know.
I ain't put him up there for the floor generalship just because. At the end of the day, it's about them who can really score. Like,
Right.
KD is unstoppable, so to not put him in the top 5 is kind of crazy to me. And then a lot of people, I ain't really seen them niggas play. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel out of place.
You just had to be there.
Yeah, like I know about Kareem. I watch highlights, and I know like the thing with Kareem is like when he was the GOAT, they never gave him his flowers. Like they called somebody else the GOAT who didn't have the accolades or the rings. Like you know what I'm saying? So that's why I take that out of it because it don't really keep it fair.
Know, man. See, the thing about Magic, man, is he just controlled the game. Like he rebounded, he could pass, he could score. I mean, he could give you everything, and it's just everything went through him. Like when they got the rebound, give it to Magic, and he was just Magic was a bad boy,
was special, man. I was watching some the other day. I was looking at like Kidd, like Jason Kidd, bro, with the point guards. If he not ranked in your top 5, you crazy. Like the passes he was doing when he was playing with Vince.
Yeah, Kenyon Martin and them. Yeah, you got to put. Yeah, Matt. I don't know. That's tough. So I had a debate with somebody the other day. They put Steph over KD. What do you think about that?
I can't do that.
I don't do it either.
I can't do that
because when they was on the same team, it was obviously an alpha dog on that team.
And you had to call him. You had to call in some reinforcements because they couldn't get the job done.
Right.
You can argue whether he was the best player in the league or not, but KD on your team with the Splash Brothers and all the man.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like I be getting slack for this too. I feel like that's the greatest team ever assembled.
When they had KD?
Yes, I feel like they'll cook anybody 7 games.
7 games. That Golden State. I would put that was a great team with Curry because they was already a great team before him. You know, they beat the single season record without him, and then you had KD on that. That is tough.
On paper, they was better without him, but you know, like come on. With KD out there,
with KD.
My money would Golden State.
That'd be a good matchup between that Miami team with D-Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. That would be a good matchup. That 3-peat Lakers team with Kobe and Shaq, that would be a good matchup for that Golden State team. And then you got to put, the Bulls, the 72-10 Bulls team.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 best teams I've seen. 4, Golden State, Miami, L.A., and then that Chicago team. So if you had like a 4-team tournament, man, that'd be the teams I put in there, and it's hard to predict who would win that tournament.
Yeah,
because Golden State would have no answer for Shaq at all.
But you gotta think too, they gonna have everybody chasing this boy off them screens. Yeah. They not used to no shit like that.
Right.
You gotta fight through 1,000 screens, and then everybody is geared to let him get them screens, and then if he not having a good day, you got Clay, and this is young Clay.
Yeah.
Like this is. Yeah. They was all superstars, and then Draymond, like, come on. At that point, JaVale McGee, he ain't nothing special, but it's enough. Right. You feel me? That's all they needed, bro. So
see, I think the Bulls can match up against that Golden State team because, like, Ron Harper was 6'6", had great defense at point guard. Then you got Jordan and Pippen. So on the perimeter, whoever Jordan on, he probably gonna shut down. Then you put Pippen on KD, and then say you put Jordan on Clay. And then Ron Harper on Curry, and they can switch off the screens. Rodman and Draymond, they gonna cancel each other out. So that's a good matchup.
I'm gonna tell you something else. I'm gonna get some slack for, bro. I think Jordan is the most overrated defender ever, bro. Listen. He was getting nobody could stop Jordan, right? But Jordan was getting cooked, bro, by them small guards. Rob Strickland, even though Jordan had better game, he couldn't really stop nobody. How I thought the defensive player of the year, that boy was getting cooked, shaked out his socks. And it's just like, nobody can stop him. I'm not expecting nobody to really stop you because you Air Mike.
Jordan was a great defender. So in the history of the NBA, there's been 4 times when somebody, it's only been 4 times ever, where somebody was first team all NBA defense, won a scoring title, finals MVP, and MVP of the regular season. So that's the scoring title, first team all NBA defense, finals MVP, and MVP of the regular season. 4 times in the history. And the only person done it was Jordan 4 times. So that's just, yeah, that's put it right there. You lead the league in scoring and you first team all NBA.
Nah, listen, I can never take
He was
nothing away
definitely
from
a great
Jordan. He was doing his thing, but you remember when they took away the hand checking rule, right?
Yeah.
Jordan was the only nigga who could still hand check niggas, right? And then once you tried to hand check Brody, whistle.
They should have never got rid of that rule anyway. I think if you got your hand on him, you should be able to kind of show him where your strength at. You know what I'm saying? You just can't let nobody just dribble around you. You should be able to kind of guide them to where you know what I'm saying, want to go.
They let Jordan do a lot of guiding, bro. and they let everybody else do that guiding, bro. Like,
Right. So let's talk about like building teams. So when it comes to like building a team, say if you was a GM and you know they hire you to take over, say the Indiana Pacers, how would you build your team? Would you want to go get mass superstars, or would you want to do it organically through the draft and building up young talent?
So if you can look at the San Antonio and their culture, and then it's the type of superstar that you got. So if I got like a superstar big man, we seen with Tim Duncan, you put the necessary pieces around him, a couple of defenders, some sharpshooters, motherfuckers who in and out, and it's successful. You feel me? And then it's just like Wemby, this is his second year. They really putting pieces around this guy to really make him successful. And a lot of other people in that position never got that. You feel me? They went years and didn't get no help. You feel me? So the fact that he's starting off this early and they showing me that they serious and that pop culture is real.
Yeah, for sure. So you would do it organically through the draft, getting you your foundational piece and building around it?
Yep. And then, you know, even some trades or whatever, it's like we picked up De'Aaron Fox. That was a good one. But it's just like I'm building around my superstar talent. I want to make the game as easy as possible for him. You know what I mean? And then a guy like Wemby, come on, bro. You shoot it 30 feet. Motherfucker 8'12". It's like, bro, come on, man. That's 9 feet too. But I'm like, bro, it's just crazy. And he's still passing. If I was him though, I'd be dunking on everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. Wemby, he's definitely got the potential to one day potentially be the best player in the league. I just think he just need to. I think he need to get a little bigger
for sure.
And then he also got to get a little bit meaner. You got to get a aggressive wins in sports. I don't care what sport it is. The more aggressive you are, the more passion you play with. You got to have that killer instinct. He got to get a killer instinct. Once he get that. Like, Greek Freak got a killer instinct. You know, so once you get that killer instinct, then I think he'd be on his way. But, yeah, I like the team that they building over there in San Antonio. It's going to be really, really good the next few years between OKC, San Antonio once they get it all right. And then because they got 2 great pieces with Fox and Wemby. But, yeah, the future is definitely – and then Minnesota – man, the league is in a good place. It's in a good place after LeBron moves on because Luka's only 25.
Yep.
You know, you got SGA over in OKC. He's still young. So yeah,
I like Shea though, man. Like when I think about just like a complete player, like he in and out, he don't just shoot mass threes. You know what I mean, he's actually fun to watch. You know what I mean?
You got the mid range, take it to the rack,
and he there when he got the ball in, he dangerous. You got to worry about him no matter where he at. If he getting in close, he's shooting the middies. He cooking you, bro.
I don't know if he got a comparison. I was trying to think who I compare him to, like in the history of the game. I think it's not really too many people. Like, who would you compare him to?
That's tough. just off of just off the way I feel like he can't really be stopped, I might give him like, I think he got the ability to be like a taller version of Allen Iverson. You feel me? Because he was dangerous from everybody, but he ain't really relying on the three.
Yeah,
but if he get past you and he pull up, it's cash. And I feel like he got that aspect of his game down, and he only gonna get better. Like, you feel me?
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Clippers was tripping. You know, the Clippers really drafted him. He was there 1 year, and they was tripping getting rid of him.
Yeah, they shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I think they traded him to get Paul George. They was
Man, listen.
They was tripping. Yeah. But shit, we'll be back, and we'll go over a couple more topics, and then we will kick y'all out of here. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Lemonade.
Listening to slow jams, me, I built a program. Controversy, punchlines, kingpin, drug ties, IQ above average. Read books, mathematics, hiking with the backpackers. Treat my queen like Cleopatra.
Famous lamb chop Alfredo. Listen, man. Chef Nim Kitchen, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday, each and every week. Fish Fry Friday, breakfast on Saturday, featuring no pork in them. You already know what's going on, man. You know we got straight fire. It's serious, man. Don't forget that lemonade, man. 3305 Rear Road. Tap in.
Back to Sports Talk with Carson. I got my boy Reese with me, co-hosting today's episode. We've been diving a lot into NBA and, kind of discussing certain topics as far as like what's been happening with the recent chain of events. This last portion of the show, I want to kind of get into a discussion as far as, and I hear this a lot, especially like on TV when they talking about today's players versus like the 90s, because the 90s is really much the golden age of NBA basketball. So the 80s kind of saved the NBA from pretty much going bankrupt, and then the 90s was like pretty much the golden age. So I came up watching 90s basketball. That's where I fell in love with the game at. I know you said that you fell in love with 2000s and more so like up until this point. So what's I don't know how much you know about 90s basketball, but how do you think that today's players would struggle more back then because of the physicality, or you think the players back then would struggle more today because of how open and fast-paced it is?
I think the players from back then, they're going to struggle today because you can't even really miss a shot for real, because the transition, like they three.
A missed shot is like a fast break nowadays.
Yeah, so it's like, man, and that's not to take none away from the superstars back then, but I really, the 80s, I'm going to say, Jordan came in 84.
Yeah.
So, like, from 84 to 90, well, really from 84 to, like, 95, 90, it was like an expansion league, bro, where I felt like it was just so watered down. Like, you know what I mean? So somebody was like, oh, this defense is being played on an expert level back in the day. And I'm like, you called it defense, but I feel like they was just tackling niggas, bro. Like, you feel me? Like, hey, don't come to the hole, we gonna tackle you, bro. And now I feel like the niggas is so athletic and so long, they really making niggas miss. Like, you feel me? And they don't have to suplex you or, none of that shit. Like,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that honestly, I think both can play in both eras, because at the end of the day, I mean, great players is a great player in any era that you play in. But there may have been some players that today's stars might have struggled back in the 90s, and vice versa. There's probably some players from back then that would struggle. Like, for an example, when I think of like today's player that may have struggled compared to back then, I would say a player like, if I had to kind of put a player. Okay, so for an example, like a player like, even considering Steph Curry. So I think that the game was so physical back then. I think that just getting this shot off would be a lot more difficult. And then on top of that, he would have to really, really have a hard time going into the paint because back then it was the land of the giants. You was going in there with Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaq, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing. Every big man, every team had like a big man back then. Everything, the game was totally different. So back then, offense, you come down, you throw it inside. Your big man draw a double team. He'll look for an open man for a three, or he'll just go to work on the block. Now there's that aspect of the game is no longer exists. There's not too many teams. Joker is like he would have been really good back then, where you can just throw it in and let him go to work. And then you got players from back then, such as like Shaq. Even though Shaq would dominate on offense, he would struggle on defense.
For sure.
Because he's going to have to be coming out there behind three-point range to go help on the pick and rolls. And then these centers, they shooting the threes now.
Yeah.
So Shaq wouldn't have the time to just camp out down low.
Yeah, you got to come out that island because they bringing you out.
They bringing you out. And if you just leave the center open, they're going to shoot the three and they're going to hit it.
All day.
So I think it'll be an adjustment. But overall, when you look at the style of play and what I think is the best, I would say the 90s for the simple fact that every team had their own identity. Like back then, I looked at the Pacers, Reggie Miller and, Rick Smits, players like that. That was like they had their own little nucleus, and teams like Philadelphia with Iverson, they played different. Yeah. The Bulls played different. The Supersonics with Sean Kemp and Peyton. Every team had its own style. Nowadays, I can tell you how the game gonna go before the tip off. It's gonna be a whole bunch of up and down, wide open threes, a whole bunch of pick and roll at the top of the key. So it's just like now it's just the ability. Okay, can you make shots? And then two, are you athletic? That's really what it boils down to. If you really athletic, then and you can make shots, I think you can go to the NBA. So it's hard to compare. I really don't like comparing that because you're talking about different eras. So
exactly. You really can't compare it for real. Like, because again, first of all, it's never gonna happen. It's all fantasy.
Right. Exactly.
And we all think that our favorite players will do this, that, and the third. I used to tell people like, bro, Kobe, I can lock him up. I'm like, oh, that shit sound good till you get in the game and you getting crossed out your socks or you booming on you. It's like everybody could talk about what they would do. And, it's just like, it's all speculation. At the end of the day, we just not guessing, but we just really just want to see our favorite players play against each other. But
right, that's really all it is. A big, old, all-time fantasy basketball talk. Because they don't really do that about the NFL. They don't ever really compare eras.
They don't.
They just do that in the NBA for some reason. So
bro, they really only start doing that, bro, with the LeBron Jordan thing, bro. Like
open up a whole can of worms.
Because they know on any given day, this is a conversation that's going to turn the barbershop up.
Yeah.
You feel me? And it might be split down. It might even be 60-40, but everybody's GOAT is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody don't have the same. Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So, real quick, not to dive too much to college basketball, but we do got March Madness and the conference tournaments coming up. So, what two teams you got? We don't even know what side of the bracket they're going to get matched up in, but who are your two teams that you got that should be in the finals or at least the Final Four? Give me two teams.
I like Duke.
Okay. It's my favorite team.
And
so
even though with the loss from that, I still like Auburn, bro. I think they still pretty good, and I still think they might be the team to beat for real. You know what I mean? Just like you were saying earlier, they good defensively, they scrappy. They got he's looking like a real big man. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like them the two teams that I'm looking out for.
Okay.
But there's some other people in there too. Like I like Alabama. Mm-hmm. They looking good, but they gotta. I don't know, something missing a little bit. They got to figure that out. But if they can get that together, yeah.
Alabama, they're a scrappy team. They one thing about Alabama, if they come in, they get hot, they'll blow you out the gym. They'll blow your doors off. Like I seen that a couple times in the last 2 weeks. So one thing that I can predict. So I got Duke as well. I just think that all the way from top to bottom, we got a really, really good team. I'm a lifetime Duke fan. And then my other prediction is I can't necessarily pinpoint which team, but I guarantee you that a SEC team end up in the championship game. Whether if it's Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama, Kentucky.
Yeah,
it's gonna be an SEC team for sure that's gonna end
fair.
up in the championship. So it's just about who gonna make it. It might be 2 SEC teams, but I do like Duke. Duke is pretty tough. I'm trying to see any other outsiders that could potentially be good enough to make it there other than the SEC team in Duke. I like Purdue. Purdue okay. I like Iowa. So I'm just thinking of some Big Ten teams. Michigan State. Michigan State's had a pretty good year. Even though they got a couple bad losses. I'm trying to see anybody in the Big 12. I'm not a really big fan of the Big 12. I mean, Kansas can always make a run if they can stay healthy. They had some injuries earlier this year, but yeah, for the most part, if I had to put my money on, I would definitely put an SEC team in there, and then along you got to definitely go with Duke because they got one loss in the conference this year, so
looking solid for real.
But yeah, it's the college season winding down, so it's about to be getting to time to the conference play and then the tournament. Sport we hardly ever cover last night, hockey. Did you see those 3 fights in the first 9 seconds?
Man, it was crazy work, man. I was looking like the way they was even squaring up looked weird.
It seemed like it was planned, like it was fake.
But once they start going though,
punches ain't fake.
Yeah, the refs they wasn't stopping nothing. They was letting them go.
fight.
Like, I say that was dope.
Yeah, so last night the USA played Canada, so the NHL for their All-Star, I guess, celebration. They're not doing an All-Star game no more. They're doing a thing called Four Nations. So basically, it's U.S., Canada, Sweden, and I think Finland. That's the 4 teams. And USA and Canada, of course, got a huge rivalry in hockey.
What?
So as soon as the game started, they dropped the puck. It was a fight immediately. And then after that, as soon as they start back playing again, it was another fight.
Yeah.
And then after they fought, it was another fight.
Yeah.
So it was 3 fights in 9 seconds.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. But the U.S. ended up winning that game yesterday. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
Yeah, that was crazy.
For the one hockey fan that's probably ever going to watch the show. But
that was crazy work, though, man.
And then before we kind of get up out of here, I just want to kind of talk about, the aftermath of the Super Bowl. You got, of course, Philadelphia, beat the brakes off of the Chiefs. So a lot of people was talking about what does that loss do to Patrick Mahomes' legacy? Because before that game, if he would have won, they was talking about
the GOAT.
Yeah, he might be the GOAT. So where do you stand on the aftermath of him losing in the way that he done? So that's now 2 Super Bowl losses for Mahomes. And then in that fashion, he looked horrible in that game. I'll be honest with you. So
man, it's the fact that the Eagles, they did it without Saquon.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be.
I knew he wasn't going to.
I thought he was going to be a factor, though. I kind of did, but the one thing it was too much pressure. Like when they beat the Commanders, it kind of opened my eyes up to a little bit because I thought Jayden was going to turn up on it. But that pressure, like
the defense,
Mahomes ain't really stand a chance for real. But I don't really think this hurts his legacy because, come on, what is it, like 5-2, 5-3?
Yeah, I mean he's been to the minimum AFC
3-2.
championship every year he started.
And he got MVPs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't think it hurts him, but I just feel like if he would have won, I think I'll be singing a different tune.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the three-peat.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So that right there, it gotta mean something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then for him if he would have had 4,
yeah,
it's like I knew he would at least got another one somewhere down the line. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it hurt his legacy. He still got to the big game. A lot of people spend their whole career and never go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that Tom Brady, LeBron James thing where they just keep getting to the big game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
They got to count for something.
Yeah,
you feel me?
absolutely.
But Brady, he the GOAT.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough to kind of go against Brady right now. I think his biggest accomplishment was when he left New England and went right away and got a ring with Tampa Bay. I mean, that was basically letting you know, like, listen, I really do this for real.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Patrick Mahomes is definitely one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but to call him the greatest, I think it's a little bit too early.
Yeah.
But he got a long career ahead of him still, to where he can easily change that narrative to where he can end up. You know, he already got 3. I mean, he can end up with 5, 6 championships.
Right.
You know, possibly 7. It just depends. Kansas City, they got a good defense. I think that they really need to revamp their receiving core, because Kelsey getting old. He looked old out there.
He did.
Yeah, he looked old out there. So Kelsey I think he got about 1 year left.
Yeah, and they so boring to watch, bro.
Yeah.
They not really
Without Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, it's because of receiving core, but it's like they was just boring to watch. The games, you know, they'll come through and they might get you by a field goal or something like that. But it's just, I was watching the highlights.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun. You know, we kind of touched a little bit of everything, and it's been a pleasure. You know, I appreciate you, Reese, for stepping in. Welcome back anytime. Before we get up out of here, go ahead and subscribe to the Network Cincy app. And then also, big shout out to Roku TV. You know, we just got in the partnership with them. So we'll be having a direct way to be able to watch all of our shows, you know, from Maps to, you know, our comedy specials with OG Played It, and, you know, my guy Funny Man Graham.
That's tough.
And then we also got, you know, Behind Success, that's brewing. We got a lot of shows. We working on a relationship show where we, you know, speak with, you know, women from all demographics to, you know, kind of go over relationships. So yeah, definitely tune in. Network Cincy app.
Coming up too.
Cooking show on the way. You know, we got a lot going on. So, you know, we just now building. So come on board. Any suggestions, definitely reach out to us. Network Cincy or Net Cincy on all social media platforms. If you're looking to connect, you know, that's the whole purpose of this whole company, is to be able to network. So get with us, and we'll see y'all next time.
All right, y'all.
Well, G. Free all my niggas behind the wall. I'ma fuck on the word and free them out. She don't think I'm a dog till you see a pile. This pride move forward like pick us out. I heard somebody say some competition while I wouldn't smoke you with all of y'all. Me and F was in the cell, getting my hate in cell. If it was hell, we ain't calling y'all.